Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John and this video is going to be what movies I've watched in the month of September 2021. Now first of all, we watched The Evil Dead 2 in 4K. Now this is the first time that I've seen this in 4K all the way through. I've got to admit I was really impressed by the picture quality. The sound quality as well was really nice. And this movie is a classic. I would imagine everybody has seen this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, you need to check this out. This is probably the best entry into the Evil Dead series. Me and my wife have watched the Evil Deads again so I can watch the TV series again. I want to watch the whole thing in one go, which I have a great time doing, I've got to admit. The only thing that we haven't watched together is the Evil Dead remake. Now I remember watching the Evil Dead remake myself and not being very impressed by it because I think it misses Ash out, which is a big thing, and also it kind of misses out the slight comedy that they've got in this, or it doesn't really deliver in that. It's massively gory, but I just think it misses something for me. So I'm interested to see if my wife would watch that movie and see what she makes of it. So that'll be the third time I've watched it. I watched it with my son, who didn't enjoy it. He just thought it was like not even scary in the slightest. So anyway, I'm going to revisit that in the future. But so the Evil Dead 2, highly recommended. This is the UK version. I've got to admit that the picture quality is stunning. I couldn't fault it at all. I did see this in the cinema actually in 1987 on its release. Funny enough, I saw it with a friend of mine called Steve, who I saw the other day. Hadn't seen him for a while. He is actually the bass player in the band that me and him play in, although haven't been together for a few years. So yes, so anyway, the Evil Dead 2, highly recommended, and I must say the 4K is really nice. So of course, next we had to watch The Army of Darkness. Now I do like this movie. I do think this is a great movie. This is the American US version, which has all the cuts of the movie on there. I think it's better than, I think the UK version doesn't have all the cuts on it. And I do think that we watched the director's cut, which is kind of like the full version, even though it puts on the ending that we don't particularly like. I did flick it, watch the full film with that ending on, and then we watched the other ending, which I think is a much more preferred ending to me, and I think it segues into the TV series like a treat. I would like them to release this in 4K. I know there's a big box set coming out, and they don't even touch this one, which is unreal. And they could have put the extended version of the Evil Dead remake on in 4K. But they haven't, so that's kind of nuts, if I'm honest. It's like, when is a box set not a box set? So these two here are highly recommended. I do think that this is the most comedic of the entries, but I do think it's great. And this Blu-ray looks absolutely amazing. This is Region A lock, by the way, and for me this is the definitive version of the Evil Dead 3. Well, the Evil Dead, they missed a trick when they missed out the Evil Dead 3. Well, of course they couldn't do it because the company didn't want them to be associated with Evil Dead movies, because at that time they were considered like video nasties. But anyway, so yes, we highly enjoyed the Evil Dead, the Army of Darkness, and we are going to watch the TV series soon. Next up, I watched Two Evil Eyes. This is the recently released Blue Underground 4K, and I've got to say this looks absolutely stunning. This is the best it's ever looked, although I do own it on a Blu-ray in this line here, the Italian Classics. And to be honest, I hadn't watched this film for a long time, so I was going into this with fresh eyes. I couldn't remember the stories. I couldn't remember I couldn't remember both of the stories. I know a little bit about them. I know that I think I preferred the George A. Romero one the first time round. To be honest, I think I've got these both level. They've both got they're both unique pictures to themselves. They're both different. And I do think that you can see a Dario Argento influence in the Dario Argento one, also a slight one in the Romero one, but I just find this movie to be, the two movies to be really good, and they really work together as well. And like I say, this the picture quality here is stunning. It's packed with extras as well. Got loads of interviews with the cast from now. Very interesting release, and it's also one of the cheaper releases from Blue Underground. It won't break the bank if you get it. So there has got a flippable art there, which is, I would say is it an original art? I'm not too sure. It's not the one. I think the one is with a blue one. It's like a blue cover with his face on it. But highly recommended. I've got to say I've enjoyed it much more this time around. That's Two Evil Eyes. Next up, we watched Return of the Jedi. Now, this is because I'm going to do a ranking of these, and we're working through the Star Wars ones. Now the big thing is that when me and my wife get together on the rare occasion, because we both work shifts, alternating shifts, so we can sort of go a whole month without sort of bumping into each other. But when we do get together, we do try and check out some movies. So we'll be talking about this movie when I do my ranking. And you'd be surprised. I'm surprised at how this ranking's going, actually. I'm putting movies where I thought I wouldn't put them, and vice versa. So this is the classic one. All the first three ones, the original trilogy, are absolutely amazing. The picture quality in here is pretty good, actually. I wouldn't say it's the best out of the trilogy. I'll leave that to when I do my ranking of the videos to tell you all about that. But as a good it's a really good 4K for me. Some of the special effects are a little bit ropey, actually. You can tell the green screen's a mile off, but it is what it is. It's 1983. What do you expect? But it's a very enjoyable film. So that's Return of the Jedi. So after that, we obviously had to get into the new trilogy. So we watched The Force Awakens. Now, I've always liked this movie. This is, for me, does feel like a Star Wars movie. Yes, it does sort of tread on familiar ground. It's like watching Star Wars: A New Hope again. But I don't mind that. I think the characters in here are quite good. I do like the sort of set pieces, and I do like the sort of twists and turns to a certain extent. So this is the Blu-ray. And after seeing this, I'm quite tempted to get the 4K. I was just going to stick with the 4K on a few of the movies. I do think this one would look really good in 4K, so I'm quite tempted, maybe, but it'll have to be cheap. Because sometimes when you go to HMV, they can be like £15, and other times you can go and see them, they'd be £30, and you know which way I'm going to go on that one. Okay, so that'll be in my rankings of Star Wars movies, which will be coming, hopefully we'll get this month. We'll get the last two watched, and then I can give you my views on how I rank the Star Wars franchise. So also on Sky Movies in ultra high definition, we watched Gunpowder Milkshake. Now, I thought this movie, when I was watching it, it was very stylish, and I thought, is it going to be a little bit too stylish for its own good, a little bit too clever, a bit too contrived? But I've got to admit, when I stuck with it, we enjoyed it, and I do think that the movie itself was a good movie, and I did think that it wasn't going to be that good when I first watched it, but when we got into it, we did really enjoy it. I'm a big fan of Karen Gillan as well. I think she's amazing at whatever she does. Big fan of her work. And also it does feature Michelle Yeoh, who was one of my favourite actresses from Asian cinema. I think she's a great screen presence. We had a great time with this movie, in which it was quite good as well, quite fun in its own way, and it's got some good violence in it as well, just sort of not comedic violence, but stylized violence. Yeah, so we had a good time with that, and I would probably pick this up probably in a sale on 4K if the 4K is done right, because the picture quality on here, the colours on here look really nice. It's got a really good colour scheme to it. So that's Gunpowder Milkshake. So we also watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in high definition on Sky Movies. Now, this is my son's DVD copy, and there's Michelle Yeoh again. We've had a bit of a Michelle Yeoh season actually this month, and this movie, to be honest, I knew it was good, and I've watched it before, but I forgot all about it. So when we re-watched it this time, it was like seeing it, for most part, especially the middle sequence, which I couldn't remember at all, when there was a sort of change in pace and it went into the sort of into this desert setting, and I was like thinking, I can't remember this bit at all. But I've got to say, it's well worthy. It won Oscars as well, and it's well worthy of that. Of course, you get Chow Yun-fat as well, and he in this person here, who is I would say Chang Zhen. I think, I'm not too sure if I'm going to get that right. I would like to think I'm picking the right person. She was great in it as well, and it's just the fighting in here, the choreography, the fact that it's all wire work, and the flying all over the place. I know it's kind of like fantasy led, but I do like that. Some people say, well, I can't do that. I know they can't do that, but this is supposed to be a bit of a fantasy battles and that. But I do like that particular wire work I think is a bit of an art in itself. So highly recommend this if you ever want to watch a good, solid martial arts movie, which have got a great story in here as well. And really well done as well by Ang Lee, who moved on to a lot more sort of American stuff. To be honest, I think his Chinese stuff is much better than his American stuff, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. Okay, so that's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon from 2000. I remember that came out. You think, I wonder what year this is from. 2000. Wow, 21 years ago. I can't believe it. So my top 3 recommendations for this month are at number 3, Jungle Cruise. We went to see this at the cinema and we thoroughly enjoyed it. It was sort of very much like an old action romp. It is what it is. Dwayne Johnson is Dwayne Johnson in this movie, and I do think that I'm a big fan, or becoming a big fan of Emily Blunt. I didn't really sort of take any notice of her, if I'm honest, in other films, because I don't think I've ever seen her in another film. I don't see that many new films, if I'm honest. But I will get this on 4K if it's a decent 4K. I think this is a great movie, very enjoyable. A little bit long. I think they could have trimmed out maybe 20 minutes of it, but in essence, I think it's a decent movie. It's very much. I think younger generation will get a lot out of this. You could probably watch this with your kids, and I think you'll have a great time. But we thoroughly enjoyed it. So that's number 3 is Jungle Cruise. Number 2 is a movie that I thought would be okay. It would be a one-time watch. It was just one that was just there. It was cheap in Poundland, and I tell you what, I had such a good time with it. And it is I Give It a Year. Now, this movie here is kind of like a rom-com. I thought it was a rom-com, but it's a rom-com with a twist. It's kind of like the anti-rom-com, as they do say in the making of in this movie. It's got a great cast in here. I predominantly got it because of it's got Rafe Spall there. I'm a big fan of his work. I just watch his movie. I watch his movies no matter when they come on. I just think I've got to see them. And also a good performance from Rose Byrne. I do think, and Stephen Merchant as well. He plays a character who just says whatever he thinks, and he's got no filter as well, and people are cringing every time he opens his mouth. So this movie here is a lot more than you would think it is, and it does say it says from the writer of Borat. So that may make you think that it's more than just your average rom-com. It's very much not a rom-com. And I remember I was talking to Keith from Euphoria Pictures. I'll put a link down below to his channel. Go and check him out. And he was saying to me, he said it's one of the films that he laughs at the most when he watches it. So when I watched it, I thought, well, will it be a rom-com? Will it be enough to make me laugh? But with it being not a rom-com, and you get some scenes in here, especially the one with the photo frame, it is just unreal. And I was just in stitches with this movie. But if you're looking for a comedy that's got a lot of like outlandish humour in it, this is the one. It doesn't come across that as when you look at it, but to be honest, wow, this movie is just something else. I get a lot of like flavours, The Office and things like that with it. So yeah, so that's number 2. That's I Give It a Year. So my number 1 recommendation for this month is Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, we went to see this in IMAX and it looked absolutely spectacular. The whole cinema was just, this is the type of movie I like to see in IMAX. Had some amazing fight scenes in here. For me, it's a Marvel movie, yes, but it doesn't really come across like a Marvel movie to me. It comes across more like a sort of, like an Asian cinema spectacle. I had a great time. Michelle Yeoh is in here again, and I had a great time in this movie. I just think the cast was amazing. I thought that everything about it was amazing. I can't wait to get this on physical media. I would definitely get it on 4K when it comes out, because it just looked that spectacular. And I hope that Shang-Chi makes a big presence in the Marvel universe from now on. I think he's a character that could go a lot of places with, rather than just a throwaway person that they might have put in just to sort of shoehorn some other bigger names into this franchise at this point. But when this movie come out, it's kind of started off this new phase with a vengeance, if I'm honest, and I really enjoyed it. I've got a full review of this movie when I went to see it at the cinema. I'll link that down below so you can have a look at that if you want to hear a little bit more about it. But I do highly recommend this. I hear a lot of people talking about. My son went to see it with his girlfriend, and he said that they had a great time with it. So and he's hard to please, I tell you, when it comes to movies. So yeah, so that's my number 1 recommendation. Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. Okay, so thanks for watching. You take care, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.